you so help you God?
Yes.
Step this way, ma'am.
All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury, spelling your first and last name?
It's Kiana, Keiana, Robeins, Robbins,
And where do you work?
with Chatham County Police Department.
What is your position there?
Currently a detective.
How long have you been with the Chatham County Police Department?
6 years.
And did you work with any other police departments prior to starting with the Chatham County Police Department?
No, sir.
What assignments have you had at the Chatham County Police Department before becoming a detective?
I was on patrol for 3 years.
Okay. So that would put you joining the detectives roughly
January
when?
January of 2022.
January of 2022.
Yes, sir.
Now, were you on duty as a detective on the morning of October 5th, 2022?
Yes.
Where were you and what were you doing?
I was at the Islands Precinct, located at 54 Johnny Mercer Boulevard, in our detective's office at my desk.
Now, is that a ways away from 535 Buckhalter Road?
Yes, it's about 30 minutes, give or take. 45.
Is that where your office is located?
Yes.
The Islands Precinct?
Yes, sir.
Is that where all the detectives' offices are located for the department, or are y'all spread out?
That's our main office. We don't have any other offices at any other precincts.
Okay, so the CID offices, if I'm understanding you correctly, are in the Islands Precinct on Johnny Mercer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, did you become involved at some point that day in the investigation of the disappearance of Quentin Simon?
Yes, sir.
Did you go to the scene yourself that day, 535 Buckhalter?
Yes, sir.
When roughly did you go there?
Around 6 o'clock, I believe, that evening, after getting a search warrant signed.
Okay, so you didn't go there till the evening, till after the search warrant was signed for the residence?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, earlier, before that, were you nevertheless still involved from your desk at the Islands Precinct?
Yes, sir.
And at some point, were you asked, or did you just decide to run the defendant's name, Leilani Simon, and see whether there were any vehicles registered to her that you could see in your system?
I was asked by the detectives on scene.
Okay. And how did they ask you? Over the radio, cell phone, or what?
Through text.
Okay. So who was on the scene at that point and may have asked you to do that, if you remember?
I believe it was Detective Noble and Detective Wilkins.
Okay. So one or both of them asked you to run her name and see about vehicle registrations.
Yes, sir.
And did you see that any particular vehicle was registered to her?
I believe that there was a Dodge Journey registered to her.
Do you remember the tag number for the Dodge Journey?
Yes, it was TEN9300.
And is that a Georgia tag?
Yes, sir.
One moment, please. Now, do you see in front of you a document marked as State's Exhibit 6?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what that is?
It appears to be a license plate reader from Flock.
Okay. A flock camera?
Yes, sir.
All right. Does it fairly and accurately depict what a typical flock camera looks like?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would move this in as State's Exhibit 6.
No objection, Judge. I've already seen it.
It's admitted.
And may I ask, rather than putting this up on the screen, if it could just be published by passing it to the jury?
That's fine, Judge.
And would the court like for me to do that, or would the court prefer that a deputy do that?
What does the state wish to do?
I'm fine.
Are these photos?
It's just a single photograph.
It's just one picture, Judge.
Okay. So you can.
Thank you. Now, what is a flock camera and what is the flock system?
So essentially, it's a license plate reader that is stationed throughout different areas throughout the U.S. The Flock system is made only public to law enforcement agencies, so you have to have a username and a password through your agency to actually use the system.
And did you have that on October 5th of 2022?
Yes, sir.
Roughly how many of these cameras are there scattered around Chatham County? Off the top of your head, not looking for a firm number.
About 300.
Okay. And do you have access to the information from all of those?
Yes.
Do you have access to information from flock cameras in other places?
Yes, sir.
How does that work?
So essentially what it is the agency, say if we're here in Georgia, an agency in California can put us on their permissions list, and then what we can do is just add it or do what we call a hot list, which means say if there's a vehicle that you're looking for, if you have the tag, you can put it in the system and then it'll alert those individuals who are on the hot list. So I would have to say if I'm the owner of the hot list, I can add you as a user to see what the vehicle and where it hits at.
Now, what do these cameras do when a car drives by and the license plate comes into the field of view of the camera?
It just takes a picture of the license plate and the back of the vehicle.
Okay. And are those images maintained in the flock database that you have access to?
Yes, I think they hold for about 30 days.
Okay. And does it tell you the location of the camera that took the picture?
Yes, sir.
And you can see the picture itself?
Yes, sir.
Does it tell you the time that picture was taken by that camera?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have the ability to, after the fact, search for a particular tag number in the flock database and see what, if any, cameras in the area or in other locations that you have permissions for, the vehicle's tag has been photographed by?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And once you had this tag for the defendant's car, Georgia TEN 9300,
Yes, sir.
did you look it up in the flock system?
Yes.
Okay. And you're doing this on October 5th, the morning of, right?
Yes, sir.
And did you see any results of note to you?
Yes, it showed that the vehicle hit multiple times from the late night of October 4th until the morning of October 5th.
All right. And so you were able to look at this and see, gosh, it looks like this car has been out driving around?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, with that information, did you relay that to officers on scene?
Yes.
Who specifically do you remember relaying it to?
I contacted Lieutenant Foster.
Okay. And was he the on-scene commander at this point?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And you told him, hey, I'm seeing flock hits late at night for this car.
Yes, and then I sent him a screenshot of my computer screen of the multiple hits on the flock camera.
And how did you send that to him?
Through text message.
Okay. Had you just taken a picture of your computer screen with your phone? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And sent that to him?
Yes.
All right. One moment, please, Your Honor. You mentioned going out to the residence after a search warrant had been obtained for the residence.
Yes,
Who obtained that search warrant?
I did.
What do you have to do to get a search warrant?
You have to get the information you need from the detectives or whoever's on scene. Essentially type up the search warrant and then submit it to your supervisor. The supervisor then approves or rejects it. Once it is approved, you would reach out to the judge who's on call or who's available, and then at that point you send them the warrant. Once they find probable cause, and they'll sign it and then send it back to you to cloud gavel.
I'd like to approach with what I've marked as State's Exhibit 7, Your Honor.
No objection, Judge.
All right, could you take a look at State's Exhibit 7, please? Is that a copy of the search warrant that you obtained for 535 Buckhalter Road on October 5th?
Yes.
I would introduce this in as State's Exhibit 7, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
It's admitted.
questions, Your Honor.
Did you hear you?
Just one or two, Judge. Detective Robbins, you secured the search warrant and you looked at the flock camera, and that was pretty much the beginning and end of your involvement in the case?
For the most part, yes, sir.
Okay. And did you ever respond to the scene that day or no?
To 535 Buckhalter?
Yes.
Yes, that evening around 6 o'clock p.m.
Okay. How long were you there?
Up until maybe 8 or 9, and then I went to the West Chatham Annex, which is where our property room is located.
That's all the questions I got, Judge. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Dean, you need to redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.